Alright, so continuing from the last video where we finished up with this body, by the end of this video, you will have this body. So for the goals of this video, you're going to further develop your body of the Benchy. You're going to use the shell command, use the slice tool, use parallel and collinear constraints, and use the extrude cut command. Alright, starting from where we left off from last video, what we're going to do is shell out this body. We want to make this hollow but still have some thickness. So we're going to go under modify and click shell. And it's going to ask faces or the body that we want to select to get rid of. So we want this to be like scooped out. We're going to select this and it's going to ask us the thickness. So if you can drag the arrow, you're going to see that it's going to increase in thickness. It completely remove that top surface. We want to have a shell of 2 millimeters to type into. We're going to click OK. So now we have that shell done. We want to get that more of that boat shape. As you've seen from that video, it's not going to be this almost of a trapezoid shape. So what we're going to do is create a new sketch. I'm going to click this plane. So this is going to be the mid plane since we made our sketch and everything symmetrical. So what we're going to do is use the project tool. So go under create, project / include, and click project, or you can click P for short. I'm going to click this and it's going to project every line and click OK. And what we want to do is start creating our little shape that we want to extrude or have of the boat. So we want to make 2 lines. Let me actually undo that. We'll create a shape like this. Go over here. Then I'm going to go out. Sometimes when you're sketching inside of things and there's parts that are sticking out bodies, you might not be able to see it as it's going to obstruct your view. So what we can do is actually on our right window right here where it says sketch palette, we click slice. What that's going to do is it's going to slice away the body or component or whatever you're working with along with that plane you're working in. Since the plane was in the middle of this, it's going to slice the rest away. So now we get to see a cross section of what our body looks like, our boat. And you can see that blue or colored cross hatch. It shows that that's like actual solid material. So it is actually a cross section. And now we can get a more of a clear view of what we're sketching. So what I'm going to do is create another line. I'm going to go horizontally. I'm just going to go out. And we're just going to connect this line right here. You can drag it, it doesn't matter. We can let this go out. We want to focus on this. So once we have our rough sketch up, we can start dimensioning. So I want this total length of this line to be 50 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is actually drag along the angle it's going at. So I'm not going completely straight up or side vertically. I want to go right there. I'm going to type in 50 millimeters. And then for this line right here, I want this to be 10 millimeters. And for the angle, it's still unconstrained. So what we're going to do select is this top line. And this right here is going to bring this angle dimension, if you can see right there, the arc. It's going to ask what's the angle. I want this to be 12 degrees. Okay. And instead of typing a degree or anything, I actually want this to be parallel, this line parallel to this outer edge. So I'm going to select parallel, or you can go in here and select parallel on the constraint list. Right here, I'm going to select this and this outer line. Now makes this completely parallel. So now we're finished and we have our sketch. I'm not too worried about this as long as I have the main profile of the sketch and this goes out, because what we're going to do now is click finish sketch. And we're going to click extrude and we select that profile. You can select this if you want to, but it's not going to make a difference. And then we're going to select symmetric because we're in the mid plane. We have to go up both ways, and we're going to drag. And then it's going to cut. And now we have more of a better shape of the Benchy model. Moving on, we want to create this little inlet. So what we're going to do is create a new sketch on this face right here. And what we're going to do next is project. So I'm going to project this, and I'm going to project this. Select these two faces and click OK. And what I'm going to do is create a point right here along this midpoint right here. So that point is created, and what I want to do is create a rectangle, but a center rectangle, not a 2-point rectangle. I'm going to select the midpoint, and it's going to create a rectangle based around the center point or the midpoint of this line. I want this of the bottom edge of the rectangle to be 20 millimeters. However, I want this line to match up with here. So what I'm going to do is use the collinear constraint. So under constraint, collinear, and I'm going to select this line and the projected line that I selected. What that's going to do is going to match up these two lines in the same exact line or path. So now that's constrained. Now what I want to do is create some thickness of my little inlet body. So what I'm going to do is click offset, select this rectangle that we made, and we want the thickness to be 1.5 millimeters. Click OK, and now we have our little inlet. And then we're going to extrude. I'm going to select this. You can select the entire thing. But what's actually, you know what? You don't have to. Instead of cutting, we want to create. So under operation, click join. And we want this body to line up with the bottom face of this of our boat. So instead of trying to calculate how far it is from here to here, we can actually click and it says snap to a certain value. It's going to line up exactly. And now we're going to click OK. But notice now we have a problem of this material sticking out. This is excess material. We don't want it. So in order to get rid of that, we're going to create a new sketch. I'm going to select either any of this midplane or here, it doesn't matter, because what we're going to do is project. So weird thing is that I created, I didn't select this part, so this triangle excess material is bigger than this. So of course we want to select the bigger excess material, the triangle right here. I'm going to go to project it, click OK. I'm going to click finish sketch, and what I'm going to do is click E for extrude. Select this and this triangle, and I'm going to cut away, and then it gets rid of the excess material that we wanted. You can have your inlet sticking out. You just have to do the opposite. So instead of extruding down here, you'll extrude to the other way, and you'll have to cut away any excess material you see on the other side. The design of your Benchy boat is all up to you. You have the freedom and design knowledge to do so. So for the next video in part 3, we're going to finish up this inlet. We're going to add in some holes right here. And I'll see you guys in the next part.